Hi class, Mrs. Calvi here. Just want to do a quick review on absolute value. So absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. And if you notice here, I have these two lines, and these are called the absolute value bars. All right. So now typically you would have a number inside of here. So I'm going to actually put the number -4. And this would be read as the absolute value of -4. Now, one thing about absolute value is because it's just telling us the distance the number is from 0, it cannot be negative. You cannot have a negative distance, all right? So in this case, for this example where I have the absolute value of -4, if I wanted to know what that equals just 4, okay? Because it is 4 units away from 0 on the number line. All right, so -4 is 4 units away from 0 on the number line. So the absolute value of -4 is equal to 4. So remember, absolute value can never be negative. Whoops. Never negative. All right, so if I had the absolute value of 6, and I wanted to know what that equaled, the absolute value of 6 is, well, how many units is +6 away from 0 on the number line? I'm saving time. I'm not writing all of the numbers in. So +6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units away from 0. So the absolute value of 6 is 6. Now, if I had the absolute value of -6, well, how many units is -6 away from 0 on the number line? So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know the absolute value of -6 is equal to 6. Can never be negative because distance cannot be negative. All right. So absolute value is actually pretty simple. That's really all there is to it. You just have to remember that if it's a negative, it's going to always really be a positive because distance cannot be negative. Now, you may also see it written this way in one of your assignments. Instead of actually seeing the absolute value bars like this, it may be in question form. What is the absolute value of -8? And that's where you should know that the absolute value of -8 is equal to just 8, +8. So you may not see it written with the bars. You may see it written in sentence form. You just have to remember, if they're asking what the absolute value of something is, it cannot be negative. It's always that positive number, the distance from 0. So now if they want you to compare, here this is comparing the absolute value of -15 compared to the absolute value of 30. Before you put a less than or greater than sign in there, the first thing you should do is you need to put what these are equal to. So the absolute value of -15 is 15, and the absolute value of 30 is 30. So now you should be comparing these two, because if you don't actually change it, if you keep it a -15, you're going to get confused and you're going to end up putting that -15 is less than 30, which technically it is. And in this case, it doesn't change my value here. So this actually is less than, but depending on the numbers that are here, it could change your final answer. So let's try another one. So in this example, I am comparing the absolute value of -9 to the absolute value of -20. All right, so here, don't forget, we want to first figure out what the absolute value of -9 is, and that would be a +9. And the absolute value of -20 is a +20. So now this is what we're comparing. Well, we now know that 9 is less than 20. Now, if you didn't make that change and you were looking at this as just a -9 and a -20, well, -9 is greater than -20. So this is one of those examples where if you don't actually change it and put what the absolute value is equal to, you could make a silly mistake like this, okay?